first things first, coming from the same developers of the 9 Years of Shadow, we've got ever since June last year, another Metroidvania game over here with just less color but more action and story oriented in nature, a game called Maraki Legends. It's just the same a side-scrolling Metroidvania game set in Mexico, where you play as a detective, and of course it's inspired by the Mexican folklore and classic arcade gameplay. Check it out, it's set to be coming to PCs only sometime later this year.
¿Qué quieres conmigo?
If you're familiar with the record of Lodos war games, we've got over here another action pixel art Metroidvania game from the same folks, going by the name Blade Chimera. It's a pixel art action platformer that is set in a cyberpunk time era, where monsters and ghouls have appeared from nowhere. You're the one to deal with this stuff. We got a new trailer for where the game is coming to PCs only, Switch as well, in the coming months. Moving on to number 3, we've got a very much Shinobi-inspired game. Well, I mean the Shinobi from 30 years ago, the return of the Shinobi is what I'm talking about. A brand new platformer here going by the name Shadow of the Ninja Reborn. It's a classic Nintendo game from 35 years ago and now completely redesigned and much more detailed and new content. The game features new ninja tools, attack actions, and of course better visuals. Sitting on Steam with a demo, coming out in the second quarter of this year, in case you missed it, Awaken Astroblade is a 2D, 3D Souls-like platformer. We've known about this game since 3 years ago, and ever since it was only a trailer. Last month, we finally received the word that it's coming out at PCs and PlayStation exclusively, and actually another new trailer as well. Coming as its developer's first work at number 5, we've got another recently revealed Metroidvania going by the name Visent, I think. Now, Visent is described at its official page as an action-focused 2D side-scroller shooter inspired by games like Sunset Riders and Castlevania. Dude, I love the Sunset Riders. And you play as a guy named Bento, which is a blind cowboy armed with a mysterious gun and some supernatural powers in a quest to cleanse the land from evil. Check it out. Revealed almost earlier today. Number 6, we've got another developer's first work about a horror Metroidvania adventure going by the name Silent Planet. A game is tagged as an exploration-focused dark action side-scroller rooted in cosmic horror, which you will face massive underground complexes filled with the remnants of technological and biological horrors created by a dead civilization. It's quite the description. Anyway, this game is coming to PCs only by the end of 2025. Chucklefish is bringing Time Spinner's sequel to every single platform after 5 years since the original game, and they actually just revealed another trailer for it with a vague 2024 window. Guys, Time Spinners, for those of you new over here, is one of the most well-received Castlevania side-scrollers on the platform. The sequel here, Unwoven Dream, picks up after the events of the first game whilst improving on every single element they promised. From a Kickstarter campaign over here, although have been in the making for a year and a half. Yesterday we finally got word that Contra Rebirth is still happening and it's coming to PCs within 2024. Contra Rebirth, if you missed it, is a high-bit action platformer, an 8-bit game from a solo developer, promising 9 different levels of different kinds of fun with all kinds of action, ranging from melee, shooting, and even magic. On stores yet, not even officially announced, we've got over here another brand new running action platformer going by the name Ronan Rush. It's a pretty short trailer, I suggest you watch it. The game is coming to Steam with a demo soon here. first announced almost 3 years ago. Moving on, we've got over here Soul Quest, one of the most amazing pixel art projects ever since its reveal, now finally available on Steam, through a demo and set to be coming to PCs fully later on in the year. Here's a trailer. Soul Quest is a 2D hack-and-slash platformer set in a unique world heavily based on Celtic mythology.
Oh, you must be kidding me!
Described by its developers as a captivating side-scrolling Metroidvania over here that follows a remarkable journey of a courageous girl determined to rescue her village from the clutches of a devastating epidemic, something called Awita, Journey of Hope. Try this one if the trailer catches your attention. The full game is only rumored to be coming out by late 2024. Inspired by old-school running platformers, maybe the Mega Man games and Astro Boy, number 12 we have something here called Berserk Boy. It's another new high-speed action-packed platformer with a pretty vibrant and stylish pixel art. Not sure if the game has a story, but the combat seems to be legit. Anyway, the Berserk Boy is said to be coming out on all consoles on March 6th this year. Coming to PCs exclusively on March 12, at number 13, we've got a brand new fantasy Metroidvania, as developers stated, with a moral choice system and a ton of boss fights. Maybe a bit inspired by the Shadow of Colossus in that way, but the game is pretty much just an exploration-based platformer and a tad inspired by the Asterix and Obelix games. Check it out in case you missed it. Coming as the first work of its developers from June last year, we've got now Obsidian Legion. This is a 2D action-adventure Metroidvania, kind of what you get by mixing a Prince of Persia, the old one, and a little bit of Dark Souls. Or maybe a 2D Dark Souls. Some really smooth graphics. Not as detailed as the Blasphemous, but definitely a good attempt at some. The game is coming to PCs only sometime later this year. After 2 years of wait, Lords of Exile was finally resurfaced last week and is now coming to PCs, Switch, and even other consoles, in fact, both generations of consoles on February 14. The game's an 8-bit side-scrolling platformer in which, as a knight, you go on a journey seeking revenge. It's got a pretty good combination of old classic retro mechanics and some linear level design. Coming up behind that at number 16, we have Bolar II. It's a sequel to a classic Metroidvania action-adventure where you play as a barbarian and get to explore all kinds of ancient evil and mysteries. Love the game myself by the looks of it. It's quite a bit atmospheric and a tad inspired by the Conan classic. Maybe a little bit of actually the first Prince of Persia game as well. Number 17, we have something here called SoFi, the P. SoFi is an atmospheric Metroidvania style action platformer, as developers stated, set in a dark and dangerous coastal world full of mysteries and ancient treasures, in which your job is to discover long buried temples and fend off eldritches, monstrosities as you go. Here's a trailer. The game is coming to PCs only in the next few months. Once again available on Steam with a demo, we've got Divining Guardian. Inspired halfway by the Mega Man games, I think this one is set in the Vietnamese jungles as a premise, and you will combat mystical monsters and rescue creatures on your quest to challenge the gods and restore harmony to the universe as the Divine Guardian. Yeah, anyway, the game is coming from a Kickstarter that has just started. That being said, X Vitro was actually released a few days back and is so far received only positively on Steam. Like, it's 100 out of 100 positive. The game's a Metroidvania, rather short, but it's a free game at the moment and hitting all the correct boxes of a decent platformer. A must try if you have the slightest interest in the old Metroid games. And last but not least, we've got over here, well, firstly, not a pixel art as you can see, but a Metroidvania platformer inspired by many different elements in games, maybe a little bit of Ori, a little bit of Inside, and even the old Contra games and even Hollow Knights, but quite unique of its own, least of all. Before I Go, the game, which you'll probably have a hard time actually finding it on Steam, is coming to PCs only, hopefully this year. We're not sure.